Before joining Action Coach, I worked in a number of large organisations, typically at customer service director and operations director level. My speciality was managing large teams to excel.
Before I became an action coach, I was actually in the corporate world for about 30 years. Around the world, I did mostly international exhibitions and conferences, and also worked for IBM Canada on the west coast of Canada for a few years. I did team training there, also a lot of the skill sets that I learned at IBM, which was a great place to work, I've been bringing into my clients here as well, which is fantastic.
Before I joined Action, I worked in the telecoms industry for a long number of years, over 35 years, starting off as an apprentice within the old GPO and then moved through BT. Worked for a number of companies in this country and in Ireland, and ended up running a company for a couple of years, telecoms company in Holland.
Well, before I joined Action as a coach, I spent a lot of my career in sales and marketing and general management in the healthcare industry. In particular, one of the major things that I did was turning around quite a big business that was unprofitable across the whole of Europe and making it become profitable.
Before I became an Action Coach, I was in sales and management, in middle management, so I was running, if you like, a divisional part of a national privately owned company, and also managing national sales teams. So I got a lot of experience of growing SMEs, if you like, and selling to SMEs, small privately owned businesses, and also sales management. I'd also studied performance coaching and management at the Open University, because my passion was how to motivate teams to get better performance. So my background was very much small to medium businesses, as well as selling to corporates, and in the management side.
Before I became an Action Coach, I used to work in the corporate world, and I ran subsidiary companies of some fairly large PLCs, so £50 million companies, 500 people.
I've been an Action Coach for nearly 18 months now. I found myself that I was sort of stagnating in my corporate role. I was getting success, but I wasn't getting fulfilment. And I asked myself a couple of hard questions and realised that I wasn't pushing myself enough. And then the opportunity arose to join Action Coach, and it was the best opportunity I ever had.
I became an Action Coach and made the change from leaving the corporate world because I felt that I could make a contribution to small business owners. So I ran my own practice effectively for 2 years and then became licensed with Action Coach just 12 months ago. And the reason I did that is because I knew Action Coach were the #1. I looked at all the possibilities and I wanted to be sure that what I offered my clients was the best in the world, and therefore being involved with Action was what I was interested in.
I've been an Action Coach for exactly 3 years. It was 3 years ago this week. I was on training in Las Vegas. What made me make the change? Personally, I was fed up of the corporate stuff. I wanted to help small businesses, and I stumbled across Action Coach, and the rest is history.
I've been an Action Coach now for 7 months. My other half had her own business. She had an Action Coach. I went to see him, and the rest is history. It just makes sense.
I've been an Action Coach for just over 2 years. I came out of training in February 2006. Previously, as I said, I've worked in the corporate world, and I was looking for a business to buy. I was looking to go into business on my own, and Action actually approached me. And one of the things I was looking to do was to actually give something back to the business community. It sounds a nice thing to do, inverted commas, and a bit soft around the edges, but I actually wanted to interact with business owners, and the match in terms of business coaching, running my own business, really suited.
I've been in Action for 2.5 years. I joined really because I was frustrated in what I was doing and really wanted to get away from the corporate environment and find something that I could find a bit more challenging and help me grow personally. So 2.5 years of brilliant growth.
I've been an Action Coach now for nearly 5 years. It was interesting because when I decided to leave the corporate world, I looked at what my talents were. Always working, I loved growing teams. I was very successful in growing a business to a £5.5 million turnover in my previous job, but I had my own business unit. And all those things, and I thought, well, great, I can take those out and use them in my own business. And then Action found me. I wasn't exactly looking, and I found that what Action brought to the table perfectly complemented my talents, with systems and processes that are tried and tested around the world. I just thought, well, that's invaluable. I didn't pause for 2 minutes before making the decision.